Hello friends, welcome to Relief Tutorials again. Let us start with the new chapter of chemistry, acid, base and salts. Lengthy chapter, also important as per the board's examination point of view, and also it is the very important base regarding 11th and 12th science also. So directly we are not entering in the chapter. I want to tell you something which is not given in your textbook. The history regarding this type of solutions. It is a burning question today also, that what is the definition of acid, base and salt. Because from the long time scientists are working on this to find out the precise definition regarding acid, base and salt. Almost before 400 years, Robert Boyle was the person. Robert Boyle was the first person who has suggested a definition for acid, base. According to him, what is acid? Acid is a substance which converts blue litmus paper red. According to Robert Boyle, acid is a substance which converts blue litmus paper red. Acid is a substance which is sour in taste. And one more important thing he told, that acid, when reacts with metal, liberates hydrogen gas. This is the definition according to Robert Boyle about acid. But if you see the definition carefully, it seems to be the properties more and not the definition. So this definition, which is actually given by Robert Boyle, which is based on the properties. This is the definition given by Robert Boyle, but this definition is totally based on the properties of acid. This definition is not describing the composition of acid. It is not describing that acids are made up of which substances. What should be the substance present in the solution so that it is called as acid? It is not given. This definition is totally based on the properties. Such definitions are called as operational definition. The definition which is given by Robert Boyle for the acid is operational definition, as well as for the base also. What is base according to Robert Boyle? Base is a substance which converts red litmus paper blue, which are bitter in taste and sticky in nature. Sticky nature, like the soap solution. These definition also based on the properties. So this is also called as operational definition. So Robert Boyle actually has given operational definitions for acid and base. What do you mean by operational definition? The definition which are based on the properties of a substance is called as operational definition. Okay, but these definitions didn't survive for a long time, as it is not giving any idea about the composition of a substance. Every time you have to check it by the litmus paper. Litmus test, it's a test. It's the operation we have to perform to the solutions, then only we can get the idea that the substance is acid or base. If it converts blue litmus paper red, if it converts red litmus paper blue, based on that you have to decide whether the substance is acid or base. Later on, after some years, revolutionary definition is given by Arrhenius, maybe double R. Arrhenius is the next person who has described acid and base according to the chemical composition. Arrhenius has given the definition like this. Look at the definition carefully. It is very important. According to Arrhenius, acid is a substance which gives means liberates, which gives H plus ion, hydrogen ion on ionization in its aqueous solution. This is the definition of acid. That acid is a substance which gives H plus ion on ionization in its aqueous solution. Means if you have a substance and if you ionize it, means you are separating the ions, and if H plus ion liberates, then that substance which you have ionized is acid. Difficult to understand. Let us take some examples. For example, HCl in its aqueous solution. Now, if you perform the ionization in it, then it will give two types of ions, H plus and Cl minus. So, can you see that this substance HCl is giving you H plus ion on ionization? Yes, so this substance HCl is acid according to Arrhenius. Let us say HNO3. If you do the ionization here, it will give you two types of ions, H plus and NO3 1 minus. So can you see that H plus ion is liberated during the ionization of this? So this is again acid. Let us say NaCl. If you perform ionization here, it will give you two types of ions, Na plus and Cl minus. So can you see that it is not giving you H plus ion? So this is not acid according to Arrhenius. Are you getting this or not? That if a substance gives you H plus ion on ionization, then that substance is acid. Here HCl in its aqueous solution is acid. HNO3 in its aqueous solution is acid. You might be aware of the names of these, that hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, and this is common salt. It is not giving any H plus ion on ionization, so it is not acid. What are bases? We will see more examples on this, but let me give you the definition first of base. What is base? According to Arrhenius, base is a substance which gives OH minus ion, hydroxide ion, on ionization. Base is a substance which gives OH minus ion on ionization in its aqueous solution. Similar definition, but the ions are different. If I say, let us take some examples. Let us say NaOH. So if you ionize it in its aqueous solution, I am not writing AQ again and again, you understand. So it gives you Na plus and OH minus ion. So you can see that it liberates OH minus ion. So this NaOH is base. If I say KOH, it gives K plus and OH minus ion. Again, it is a base because it gives OH minus ion. Okay, look at this example again, NaCl. It is giving Na plus and Cl minus. It is not giving OH minus ion. So it is not a base also. It was neither acid and it is nor base. So the substance which is not giving you H plus ion or OH minus ion on ionization, such substances are called as salt according to Arrhenius. I think you are getting this. This is Arrhenius theory. Very important theory to find out the substance whether it is acid or base. But there are some limitations of this theory. These definitions of acid and base is not working every time. You might be surprised that it's a quite precise definition. Then also there are some limitations. Let me give you the limitations of this theory. First of all, do you know H plus ion? Let me give you the introduction of H plus. It is quite important. First of all, tell me hydrogen. This is hydrogen. This is not ion still. Atomic number of hydrogen is 1. Okay. So atomic number of hydrogen is 1. So it has only 1 electron in the outermost orbit. So this is called as hydrogen atom. It has 1 electron in the outermost orbit. So if you draw the structure, it has 1 proton also. So this is 1 proton in the nucleus and this is the orbit. The only orbit of hydrogen, it has 1 electron present. Okay. Now, when this hydrogen loses this electron, when this hydrogen loses its 1 electron, it has only 1. It has only 1 and it is going to lose it. Then only it converts into H plus. You know that atom converts to positive ion when it loses its outermost orbit electron. So when it loses this 1, it forms H plus and 1 electron left. So now this is called as hydrogen ion. Now draw the structure. 1 electron is lost. So now no electron. So no orbit. So only left is a proton. Only 1 proton in the nucleus. So eventually this hydrogen ion is also called as simply proton. It is very important to remember that hydrogen ion is also called as proton because it was having only 1 electron which is lost. So once this electron is lost, no electron, no orbit. So what left? Only nucleus having only 1 proton. So this is proton. But this is a charged particle. Very important to remember, strict strictly remember it, that charged particles cannot be obtained or cannot be existed independently. So H plus ion cannot remain independent. And what Arrhenius was saying in the definition, that it liberates H plus ion, which gives means liberates H plus ion. And what the theory of chemistry says, that positive means only charged particle, the proton, cannot remain independent. Charged particles, let me write precisely here, electron or proton cannot remain independent. Don't misunderstand, I am talking about the proton and electron only. For example, sodium, atomic number 11, configuration 281, these we have done in 9th standard. Now, if sodium loses this one electron, it forms Na plus and one electron is lost. So, is Na plus exist independently? Yes, because it is not having only one proton. Its nucleus contains 11 protons and still it has 10 electrons left. If you draw the structure of this Na plus, it has 11 protons in the nucleus and 2, 8. So these two orbits are still existing. Only one electron is left. So Na plus exists, but H plus cannot exist because it is not having any orbit, and more precisely, its nucleus contains only one proton. So single proton or single electron cannot exist independently. Is that clear? So Na plus, K plus and many more positive ions exist. They can be obtained in the independent state, but only proton, means only H plus, cannot exist independently. And Arrhenius was saying in the definition that H plus existed. So that is the fault. So this is the first limitation of Arrhenius theory, that he was saying that H plus liberates during the ionization, but chemistry says that H plus means proton and proton cannot be liberated like this. First limitation. So we are actually discussing what? Limitation number 1 and one more limitation number 2 of Arrhenius theory. According to Arrhenius, what is base? The definition of base was what? That if a substance liberates OH minus ion, OH minus ion can exist in the independent state. Okay, NaOH, KOH, COH twice, MgOH twice, and many more bases are there which has OH minus ion, which gives OH minus ion on ionization. But one base I want to tell you, ammonia. When aqueous solution of ammonia is obtained, it is base. It converts red litmus paper blue. So it is a base. Now check it, whether this base fit in the definition of base given by Arrhenius. Arrhenius saying that it should liberate OH minus, but if you do the ionization, where is OH? There is no O present here, but it is a base. That is true that it is a base, but it is according to the definition given by Arrhenius, it should contain OH. There is no OH. For example, KOH contains OH, NaOH contains OH, MgOH twice contains OH, CaOH twice contains OH, aluminum hydroxide AlOH thrice. So potassium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, aluminum hydroxide, can you see it contains 1 or 2 or 3 OH? But this is not containing any OH, but it is a base according to properties. It follows all the properties of base, but this is not fitted in the definition of Arrhenius. So how can we explain that it is a base according to Arrhenius? It is not understood. So definition of Arrhenius is not explaining the basic nature of ammonia. So these are the two limitations. So this theory also not useful every time, but it is quite important for most of the acid and base. So later on the new theory come into existence, but to understand that theory, before doing anything, first of all we have to understand the chemical bondings, how the bonding is occurred, ionic bond, covalent bond, and the types of bond. So then see, we are still not in the chapter. We are doing the basic, we are taking the basic informations. So in the next session, still we are not going to start the chapter. The next session also, we are going to understand the typical types of bonding. Till then, just go through these theories and try to remember the definitions and limitations. Best of luck.